Hey guys, Marshall here from Limited Resources Cubing. As you can see, unfortunately we didn't open up any power here, so we're going to have to take a little bit of a different route. There's some decent stuff in this pack. There's a True Name Nemesis, which interestingly in the cube has performed similar to how it does in Legacy, in that against the over-the-top kind of broken decks, it's a little mediocre, maybe doesn't quite do enough. But against all the fair decks, all the creature-based decks, it's just awesome. Angel of Serenity, nice reanimation target. Baneslayer's just solid. I like a Wasteland quite a bit, but this pack's actually fairly weak. There's really not a ton going on here, and I'm actually just going to take True Name Nemesis out of it because, well, it's new and I want to try it. What do we have here? All right, well, there's some really good stuff in here. This pack's much, much better. Some underrated, perhaps, cards like Hero of Bladehold. Even Garrick, I think, is a little underrated in the cube. He ramps you. He can get you some defense going. He's just really, really strong. Sphinx's Revelation, pretty good in the cube. Maybe not as good as it is in Standard, but it's pretty nice. Vraska's fine. Underground Sea, of course, always will catch my eye. But we also have two really kind of all-stars, Swords to Plowshares and Mana Vault. Both of these are big hitters for cube. Swords to Plowshares in many decks is just the best possible removal spell in the entire cube, and so that's a pretty big honor. And then Mana Vault is pretty broken. It's Soul Ring-esque, but it's a little clunkier to use. I'm still going to take it here, though. All right. You did catch me. So let's see what we have here in this next pack, and maybe we'll get a little bit of guidance. Some good stuff. There's definitely some good stuff. More dual lands, which I like a lot. Jace Beleren, I love. Love me a little baby Jace there. There's also two huge creatures here. A Blightsteel Colossus that costs 12, and Kozilek, which costs 10 colorless. So those guys are pretty rough to cast, but can be amazing. Noble Hierarch's quite good. As one of the better one-drops. I think I'm going to take Jace here just to stick with blue. Otherwise, I might take Blightsteel Colossus, but I don't know. We're going to need to have some pretty special things happen to make us be able to cast that, and we just don't know if we're going to be there yet. Well, here's one of the special things that we can have happen. I'm going to take this Basalt Monolith, and yeah, I mean, hopefully we get some type of threat along those lines down the line. Karn would be sweet. You know, there's a lot of things that can fit that role. Let's see what we have here. New card for the cube, Unexpectedly Absent. Not bad. You can kind of bury one of their cards, but it's not super cheap. But it is an instant, so you can do some tricks with it, like when they go to crack a fetch land, you can put target non-land permanent underneath or on top or whatever and shuffle it away. Enlightened Tutor can do some stuff. Top is reasonable, but not amazing. Out of this pack, I like Thragtusk quite a bit. Dungeon Geist is good, and it would keep us on blue, but I don't think that it's like quite good enough to warrant that. So I'm just going to take Tusk because I think it's one of the more powerful cards available in that pack. Speaking of powerful, Reanimate, quite strong. Old Man of the Sea's reasonable. We could take a Trigon Predator. We are potentially in blue-green. That would be a thing, but actually I like Reanimate a lot. And I'm going to take a Reanimate here. I like it because you don't need to work too hard to make it really good. And I like that a lot. There's a Lifebane Zombie, which we could take as sort of a sideboard-ish, maybe if we get some equipment main deck card. Taiga, probably not, given where we're going. But Birds of Paradise could definitely be a card that we want here, or a Pristine Talisman. If we take Birds, it does push us pretty hard over into green, though, because it's such an early play. You really do need to have quite a bit of green, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm pretty okay having a lot of green. Yeah, we'll take a Birds. All right, here's an Overgrown Tomb, which we can take for fixing, or we can take Big Nicol Bolas. These other cards we don't really want. Nicol Bolas is still an option potentially, but I kind of like the green route a little better here, so I'm going to take the Tomb. That lets us maybe splash a Reanimate. We can be blue-green with a little bit of black, or it opens us up to different directions here. All right, here's a pack that we opened. There's a Maelstrom Pulse, which is a nice utility card here. There's a reasonable reanimation target for a reanimate, but I want to hedge not in that direction too hard, so I'm going to take the Pulse here just as sort of a catch-all. I don't think it's an amazing card, but it can get you out of some pretty nasty messes, and being able to deal with... Because remember, this is Cube. There's 100 artifacts and enchantments and all that kind of stuff, of course. There we go. Okay. Sphinx's Revelation is where I'd like to lean here. Special Procession is one of my favorite cards in the cube, but it really does demand being white. I mean, I know you can cast it without being in white, but it's really tough. Impulse is a card that I think is good, but not amazing by any stretch. And I'm going to just take a Revelation here and see if we can make that work. I might just start nabbing dual lands and try to go like 4 colors. You know, splash a little white here. Maybe we pick up another white card or something, and maybe we just don't play red, something along those lines. I can see this going a lot of different directions. Right now, we don't really have a deck as much as just a pile of value cards. I'm okay with that at this point, but we are going to need to kind of veer in a direction here at some point, figure out where we want to go with it. Blood Crypt, I mean, I just said probably aren't going to be playing red. I prefer to try to be 4 colors here, so if that's the case, I'll take a Knight of the Reliquary just to add to our pile of awesome 3-drops here. Intuition in this type of deck is okay, but not amazing. Living Death, Ghoul-Draz Assassin, Arena are all heavy black cards that I don't know that we really want to invest in, so I'm just going to take the Intuition here. If we're not black, that's okay too, or if we're just a little light splash here, fine with that. Alright, the Dungeon Geist came back, so did Enlightened Tutor. We can get a couple of things here that we don't really want to tutor up. I'll just take the Geists. These are really good in a creature matchup. Just, you know, if they're trying to curve out and play dudes, you can just lock something down, put up a nice blocker, a nice threat. Really like this type of card, though, if you have a couple of swords laying around, you know, because now you're just getting, like, tons of value. It acts as a removal spell, as a blocker, and then as a finisher if you can sort it up with something, too. And, yeah, that's what I like about that. Here's a Ralzeric and a Sulphurous Springs. I'll take a Ral, but unless we get really lucky with all different types of colors, we probably won't run it. I'm going to hide this Basilica for now. Not that it's unplayable, but man, I just really prefer to stay away from those bounce lands if I can. Once you get one of those wastelanded, you just never want to play them again. I mean, they're pretty good, but the risk is so brutal. All right, what do we have here? Well, we got the big boy here, Uncle Ulamog. One of the best threats in the cube. We do have a Mana Vault and a Basalt Monolith plus a Birds that we can use to try to dig up towards that, so that is actually a reasonable selection. Other good cards in this pack, Wooded Foothills is sweet. Force can be good but not great in the cube. These signets are fine. We might end up picking one here and when on the wheel. Inferno Titan's really, really good, but it's also red, and probably we won't be in red. Maybe. And then I really like Shriekmaw a lot, too. I really, really like Shriekmaw. But I'm going to take Ulamog here. I'm just going to try to go big. Okay. Another good pack here. My favorite Titan. Grave Titan. The Gravy Train. That guy is fantastic as a reanimate target or just a hard cast. The Titans are just in that beautiful middle ground where, like, sometimes you just play a Mana Vault and cast it, you know, a million turns early, and other times you ditch him to something or get him countered and then just reanimate him back and just get huge value. Cryptic Command, awesome. Tropical Island is a card we'd like to see. A Green Sun Zenith can get Birds of Paradise, Knight of the Reliquary, Thragtusk, so probably we're not quite to that point yet, but that might happen. I'm going to take Gravy Train, though. I just think this card's so good. Okay, lots of good options here. There's a counterspell, you know, good old-fashioned counterspell. We do look like we're going to be base blue, but I think we're going to be spreading out in color, so I'm going to start dedicating some picks to kind of rampy things plus fixing. Like those are kind of the things that I'm going to be looking for here. So with that in mind, I'm probably just going to take this Savannah here. It lets us splash Knight of the Reliquary, which can fix our mana and get a lot going. And then it also lets us splash for Sphinx's Revelation. And I like playing both of those in a deck like this when we've got Basalt Monolith and Mana Vault to power out a big Sphinx's Revelation. That's pretty nice. I could also take a Windswept Heath, but I think I'd rather have the dual land here. I mean, normally I take the fetches first, but we don't have very many targets for them right now at all. I can still take it. It does let me get an Overgrown Tomb already, which is pretty nice. That's actually tough for me. Yeah, let's take the Savannah. I actually don't know which one is better considering that what we have to actually choose from. I'd much prefer to not have to actually play any straight up planes in the deck. Like, assuming we keep our splash to this minimum of Knight of the Reliquary and Sphinx's Revelation. If we move over harder into white, then of course we'll have to. But even just getting a Savannah gives us Savannah plus birds. You know, we have options. Wow. This pack is sick. Jeez. Time Walk, Mox Ruby, Mind Twist, Library, and even a Scrubland. We need all of these. So the default pick is Mox Ruby. Because, well, it's a Mox, and those are just about the most powerful thing you can do in the cube. But Mind Twist plus Basalt Monolith Mana Vault is insane. Library of Alexandria is just insane. Wow. And then, of course, Time Walk is savage value, though. I actually put it quite a bit lower than these two or this one. I mean, and there's cards I just love in here, too, by the way, like Vendilion Clique and Solemn Simulacrum. I mean, I want to play those. I'm leaning actually towards Mind Twist here. I think it's between Mind Twist and Library. I'm going to go with the Library. We've got Knight of the Reliquary. I can search it up potentially and try to go deep that way. So that's what I'm going to do. A lot of good cards in this pack, but I'm going to take Underground River. I'm definitely feeling the crunch on our deck starting to get away from us as far as mana colors go, and as far as colors go, and I really want to make sure we take care of it. Which brings us to Plateau, Stomping Ground, Awakening Zone, Necromancy even. Necromancy doesn't go great in this deck so far. We're still splashing black, which was the other reason that I went away from it, but we're going to have good sources, I think, by this time, but like, turn 3, early turns with Necromancy, it's a little bit less so. I really like Awakening Zone in a deck like this. It can power out things like Ulamog or Sphinx's Revelation while keeping us alive, but I'm pretty concerned about just picking up some fixing. That said, these are both red, and we're probably not going to play Ralzeric, so I'm going to take Awakening Zone here. We could have just gone huge, too, and just taken the Heartbeat, but I think I'll hedge a little bit and try to at least pretend like we're trying to stay alive here. I'm going to take Lenalendra Archmage. I just think it's one of the best creatures in the cube, period. Memory Lapse, Call. So these are all kind of junk. Yeah, there's just really nothing that we want here. I could take a value play like Call the Herd, but I think I'm just going to take a Memory Lapse. Just give us a 2-drop, which we don't have yet, and something to interact with our opponent. So neither of these dual lands are ones that we want, but the Shriekmaw that I mentioned before is still definitely an option, as is Nantuko Vigilante. I'm going to take the Shriekmaw here, though. I like Shriekmaw a lot. Okay, we got the Trop back, and we'll take it. I mean, Sphinx of the Steel Wind is a great spell and just a great creature, but again, I feel like we need to make sure that we take care of our fixing because we keep getting these red fixers when we don't really want to be in red here. So Stomp Howler or Opposition, I'm definitely going to take a Stomp Howler here. That's only our 9th creature. I mean, Opposition plus Awakening Zone can be really, really good, but I think I'm going to hedge a little bit here because Stomp Howler's really good too. I mean, it just takes over. Every time you play it in this cube, you hit something. And it's usually something that matters a lot. And that's just really tough to turn down. Living the dream with Awakening Zone. Ooh, a Scrubland, though? Man, Vendilion Clique's like maybe my second favorite creature ever. But we might just need the fixing more than a Clique here. Yeah, I think we do. I'm going to take the Scrubland. Sad face. But you got to do what you got to do. And Clique is good, but not amazing in the cube. I mean, it can do some sweet stuff, but it's not, a game breaker. All right, Lodestone Golem, Prophetic Bolt. So these are both have red in them. We don't really want it. I'll take the Golem, but I might not even want to play it. And we pick up Birthing Pod, or I'm just going to take a Stomping Ground just in case we do want to splash that Ralzeric or something. So now, of course, I want that fetch land that we passed. I mean, I'm happy to have this, but like now we need to find some fetches, that just any fetches, because they'll go get pretty much anything that we need. All right, what do we got? Okay, well, there's some things. Big Garrick, not a huge fan of him in the cube. There's a Flooded Strand, which I am a huge fan of in the cube. There's also a Jiraga Tree Speaker, which is sort of Soul Ring-like almost in this cube. Though I'm a little less excited about it just because like it really is a turn 1 play, and we need green mana for that. And we'll have some, but I don't think that we're going to be guaranteeing it. I think I'm going to take a Flooded Strand here and just try to shore up our fixing, because we're going to get back something sweet out of this pack anyway. All right, there's a Bayou, an Ancestral Vision, Llanowar Elves Tolarian Academy. That's interesting. We've got 1, 2. Yeah, we don't really have enough to abuse it currently. That's a bit of a bummer. A Bayou would go in this deck nicely, as would Ancestral Vision. Just for some raw card draw. But yeah, I'm just going to take the Bayou. I'm just going to keep making sure that we get our mana sorted out before, because we're going to wheel some sweet stuff out of here and it'll be fine. Okay. Channel, you say. Can we double green, and is it worth it? I mean, going off with Ulamog, obviously sweet, but beyond that, like, we could power out a couple of things. This might not even be in the main. This will and this will, but those are easy to cast anyway, so I think I'm going to skip Channel here, which is kind of a bummer. And then I could take a Signet, a Slaughter Pact, a Llanowar Waste, or a Bribery. Maybe even a Ravages if I wanted to go deep, but I don't think I do. Bribery is a sideboard card generally. Yeah. Ooh. Primeval Titan. I really like Maze of Ith, but Primetime, he fixes all of our mana and is a great threat, and it's really just one of the best creatures in the cube as well. These 2 Titans are just insane. And just doing something as simple as like turn 1 Mana Vault, and it allows you to get, you know, a turn 3, turn 4 Titan depending on your mana and stuff. I mean, this thing adds 3 mana to your mana pool. Boom. Then all your problems are over. You've got fixing. You can start casting these guys. Remember, Primeval can get any land. We can go get a library. We can get whatever we want. So I like that quite a bit. And a Consecrated Sphinx. Ooh, an Upheaval. Also a Misty Rainforest. Wow, lots of great stuff out of here. We're going to get something sweet here. I'm not going to take the fixing this time, even though I'd love to have a Misty Rainforest. We're going to take an Upheaval or a Consecrated Sphinx, and the question is which one. We are not abusing Upheaval here. We can use it to our advantage. I mean, we would be... It would be in our favor to cast an Upheaval, but it's not. This isn't the type of deck where we got all the mana, all the artifact mana, where we can just go completely ape with it. So I think I'm going to take a Consecrated Sphinx here instead. Geez, triple Titan deck? What does Trinket Mage get? Trinket Mage gets Time Vault. That is tempting. Speaking of tempting, Sower of Temptation, also quite good. And Frost Titan is in the same exact camp as these two. Again, some of the best creatures in the cube, period, are these Titans. And we can... Again, just run them into counter spells, get them reanimated, get value. We can just cast them off of, you know, turn 3 Basalt Monolith, turn 4 Titan you. But Trinket Mage grabbing Mana Vault is severe value. I'm still going to go for it. Triple Titan. There it is. I'm going to take this Consuming Vapors here. I think I'm going to take it over Caracas or any of these other cards. I want to have a little bit more removal. We don't have a ton. Shardless, what do you hit? You hit Memory Lapse, boo. But then you hit any of these, and those are all quite good. And we don't even have to play Memory Lapse, to be honest. All right, I'll take a Shardless Agent, and let's just cut Memory Lapse and just have it always hit something sweet. All right, here's the pack that we opened. Shadow Mage Infiltrator could do some work. We could just take Garruk. We do have 14 creatures now. Yeah, I'll take a Garruk. This is too many 6-drops, so we're going to have to trim one, unfortunately. Or are we? Or I could take Entomb and try to combo off. The problem is I don't have any other tutors. So what I really want is Entomb, Reanimate, plus like Demonic Tutor. And that way I can just always get the other piece, but now it's like I can Entomb and then just sit there for the rest of the game and not do anything. So I'm going to take Eureka and try to just pound in 5 Titans on these guys. No. I'll take this Aqueduct, but don't think we need it. Our fixing came around nicely. Hey, this is pretty good. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Yeah, I like that actually a lot in this deck. We're pretty much always going to have something sweet. This is good against us, but nobody ever seems to play it, and this is very good against us, and people do play it, so get out of here, baboons. Stunted Growth, sure, not going to play it, though. And then we got a last pick Wake Thrasher, which is reasonable, but I don't think we're going to have room for it in this deck. This is 26, so we need to cut 3-ish from this pile. I like this deck. This deck actually came out kind of sweet. Lodestone, Eureka. Starting with you, each player may put a permanent card for his hand. Repeat this process until no one puts a card on the battlefield. You can just dump your whole hand. And Eureka plus Show and Tell is kind of sweet. Just because we can just pound in. We can just play all of our fatties, basically. All right, so here's our mana. We don't want this one or this one, I don't think. All right, so Vault, Golem maybe, Agent. Agent I like quite a bit here, I think. As you can see, we're pretty heavy green, and I'm fine with that. A little bit of black, but good stuff. And then blue. Intuition. So we can do some things with this. You know, if we have Reanimate in our hand, we can cast Intuition for 3 fatties. Just get 3 beefers. 2 of them go in the yard. We just get the one back that we want from there. But that's just asking quite a bit, I think. I think I'd rather just keep it straightforward here. I think I might actually play this Dungeon Geist, too. Like, if you put in Dungeon Geist off of Eureka, does that work? I don't think it does. Maybe it does because it says starting with you. But that all resolves at the same time? Yeah, I don't think you can actually lock down their guy with it. I wish I knew that. Oh. Should I tell him I'm not sure? Boosh. All right. So this puts us at 24. I do want to get to 17 even with our mana ramp. I think that like we can play all these fatties, but probably just going to cut Big Garruk here. I mean, he can really reload our hand with a bunch of good stuff, but he also bricks fairly reasonably. I mean, we got 13 creatures. We're not even at sort of the 15 mark here. I think I can skip him. I might regret that. I don't know. All right, so yeah, for sure. No, we don't need this one. And then a Trop, and then all these ones. All right. So here's the fun part. We have to figure out the mana now. We've got 8 land slots, and we're also playing a colorless land in this deck. So green obviously is going to be... So like, let's pile by color just to get a look. Yeah, we can also do this, if this is working. Ta-da. So we have 13 blue mana symbols, 11 green, and then way down on the list is 6, and then way down the list is 2 for white. So 6 black. So we're 4 colors, but let's take a look at our white cards. We've got a Knight of the Reliquary over here and a Sphinx's Revelation. The good news is we don't have to put any plains in the deck at all. We've got a Scrubland here and a Savannah, plus a Flooded Strand that can go get... Let's see, what can Flooded Strand go get? This one or this one. So it can get either one of them. And so we can get white mana and still have green and black, represented in there. So with Birds of Paradise, Flooded Strand, Savannah, Scrubland, we don't need to actually put any planes in the deck. So that's nice. So the next question is, do we need to put any swamps in the deck? Because we've got a Shriekmaw, a Grave Titan, a Consuming Vapors, a Reanimate, and a Maelstrom Pulse. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So what do we have? We've got an Overgrown Tomb. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 natural black sources plus a Bop. And remember, we can use Knight of the Reliquary to search. And Flooded Strand can even get a black source. So we've got like 6 to 7 black sources naturally, which is totally fine for our modest splash here. So that means that we can be very much blue-green with the mana that we add here. So let's see what we've got. Moto says blah, 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 blah. We know we don't need that. We might want one swamp, but probably it's going to look like this. And let's take a look at what this gives us. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, no, 10. That gives us 10, 11 green sources, which is way more than enough. And let's see how this does for blue, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so we need to switch out one forest for an island to make this work, because 7's just not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is much more reasonable. I wouldn't mind it actually just being 9, but green is really important here. This Birds of Paradise is going to kind of open up a lot of doors for us, and then later on we need to make sure that we can hit our other green stuff. So let's stick with it like this. And let's see what this thing can do. It's a bit of a pile, but it's got a lot of very, very powerful creatures.